and Bardyansk in southern region of Ukraine. Ukraine's northeastern city.
And they're also taking aim at the Russian central bank in a major move that could lock up over $600 billion the Russian government has in savings abroad. And by Russian elites now target too.
Fighting continues on the ground in Ukraine. Russian forces have attacked fuel depots and there are reports of explosions outside the capital, Kyiv. The mayor says there are no Russian troops in the city. Battles are still going on around other population centers.
А якщо ні ядерної бойці,
Де вас шукають?
другий бойці.
На другому поверсі, так?
Соки жарко. Соки боків на
happening in Ukraine as we speak. We joined in.
They asked from several locations. We did have several. They did hit an orphanage, kindergarten on the east. Even staying in shelters. We want them out. I will join those patrolling the streets as well.
By Russian elites now target too.
Meanwhile, fighting continues on the ground in Ukraine. Russian forces have attacked fuel depots and there are reports of explosions outside the capital, Kyiv. The mayor says there are no Russian troops in the city. Battles are still going on around other population centers.
Aside. Streets in the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv remain eerily deserted after Russia intensified attack on Ukraine. Massive explosions lit up the sky earlier today while citizens hunkered down in homes, underground garages and subway stations in anticipation of a full-scale assault by Russian forces. Ukrainian President Zelensky said that Moscow was bombarding residential areas. Heavy gun battle has been underway in Ukraine's second-largest city of Kharkiv, with Ukrainian forces are attempting to block Russian troops who have broken into the city center. Armored military vehicles and tanks were seen entering Kharkiv. Military trucks with the letter Z painted on their sides could be seen on residential areas. Finland has decided to close its airspace to Russian planes, joining other European countries in ramping up sanctions against Moscow over its invasion of Ukraine. Finland, which shares a 1,300-kilometer border with Russia, said it is prepared to close its airspace to Russian air traffic after Meta's Facebook, now Alphabet Inc.'s
the capital and also the second largest Ukrainian city of Kharkiv, adding that Kiev had been fairly quiet prior to the blasts. The Russian troops are slowly inching closer to the capital, and now there are fresh satellite images of Russian convoys of tanks and armor that is now moving towards Kiev. The images reveal the extent of deployment of the Russian ground forces that are moving in the direction of the Ukrainian capital from approximately about 40 miles away. The convoy is said to be towards the northeast of the Ukrainian city of Ivano-Kiev, and it reportedly contains fuel, logistics, and armored vehicles, including tanks, infantry, fighting vehicles, and also self-propelled artillery. According to a statement released by Maxar, shelling has now started in cities near the capital. The Ukrainian authorities have also released visuals of burnt-out military vehicles from the city of Bucha. Bucha lies in the outskirts of Kiev, just 32 kilometers from the capital. The Bucha City Council has also released footage of the burnt-out military vehicles that is still seen smoldering on the streets. Earlier on Sunday, Anton Heroshenko, an advisor to Ukraine's interior minister, said that fighting was underway in Bucha with the Russian security forces who are trying to advance towards Kiev. Images have also surfaced from the city of Irpin, where residential buildings were seen ablaze. Authorities have confirmed that the residential buildings were hit by shelling, and evacuation and rescue operations are currently underway. Irpin lies about 26 kilometers north of the capital city of Kiev. President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that the next 24 hours are going to be very crucial in the fight against the Russians. Kiev's mayor has confirmed that 9 civilians and 1 child has been killed in the fighting in the last 24 hours, adding that civilians can be evacuated as Russian troops have blocked all exits and are also positioned at the borders of the capital, and this of course makes the evacuation of common citizens that much more harder.
Доблестная российская армия, ёб твою мать, застряла в болоте. Вот так вони от приїхали до нас воювати. Все бросили, говнюки. Зараз ми їм покажемо істину мать. Спалимося все.
Further aggression. After 4 days of violence, world leaders are now ramping up their responses. The EU has essentially banned Russia from European skies. Russian banks have been cut off from the SWIFT financial system. And the United States is sending $350 million to Ukraine for weapons.
We have now also sanctioned 80% of their banks and their financial sector. This makes it very difficult for President Putin and the Russian government not only to do this.
The Russian Ministry of Defense says it's only targeting military infrastructure, but Ukraine says that's a lie. Friday, Russian forces attacked a kindergarten and an orphanage in the southern port city. A 6-year-old girl was mortally wounded by Russian shelling. Despite doctors' efforts, she died, still in her uniform.
This came minutes after an air raid siren was rung. The regional chief says that there is intense fighting ongoing. Overnight, Russian forces pounded the capital with artillery and cruise missiles. In the dead of the night, streets were left empty. This was in contrast to the columns of vehicles choking roads in recent days. Tens of thousands of residents fled free and continue to do so in hope of escaping the aggression. And those still in Kyiv took shelter in an underground car parking. Officials issued warnings to residents to stay away from windows and take precautions to avoid flying debris and bullets. But despite these circumstances, the will to defeat Russia remains strong in Kyiv.
Ну, все под контролем. Батальон под контролем. Все у нас хорошо. Ну, все должно быть хорошо. Наши войска справляются.
It's really good atmosphere because it's really very warm people, so close to each other because we help each other.
In the last couple of nights, many have taken shelter in basements, underground parking, garages, and subway stations. Russia claims its assault on Ukraine is aimed only at military targets, but reports say that bridges, schools, and residential buildings have also come under attack. Western leaders urged Vladimir Putin to choose the path of diplomacy, but after Kremlin ordered its troops to barge into its neighboring country, diplomacy.
Ukraine and Russia, which can end this war and bring peace back to all of us. Your capital, Minsk, is often mentioned there as the platform for these talks. It's the platform that we didn't choose, and neither did you, in fact. It was chosen by Russian authorities.
А выбирало руководство России. Если бы с вашей территории не было агрессивных действий, мы...
Inside Russia, more than 4,000 Russians have been arrested for unsanctioned anti-war protests.
Слава Україні!